Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Season 4 of Stand Up and Stand Out. I'm your hostess with the mostest, the Nikki Green, and we are mixing things up this season. With my new book, Chameleon Mindset, launching, I want to share more of the book's concepts with all of you. I have also been blessed to expand my network throughout the podcast community and to other inspirational speakers. I want to bring more guests on to discuss these important topics together, so we're going to mix it up, no more interview format, and we're going to have some fun. So next up, we're going to do a few fun episodes. Hope you enjoy them. And don't forget to give us a like, a follow on your favorite podcast platform. All right. Hello, and welcome everybody to Stand Up and Stand Out. It is Season 4, and we have some amazing new guests to bring to the stage. Today we have Daniel Mangena, and let's tell you a little bit about him. If you didn't catch me on his wonderful podcast, Beyond Success, we're going to have him spend a little bit of time today talking about all of the wonderful things that he works on. So Daniel is a successful entrepreneur, best-selling author, podcast host, of not one but two shows, Do It with Dan and Beyond Success, and a life and business transformational coach and an international public speaker. He's known for programs and content that take clients and students to the next level living. He has helped thousands of people across the globe achieve wealth mastery and truly abundant lives. Featured on CNN, CBS, Fox, and The Jack Canfield Show, and in Forbes and Entrepreneurs magazine. Daniel's mission is to spread his teachings worldwide with the intention to spearhead an evolutionary uplift in universal consciousness by awakening people to the importance of their unique role and enabling them to manifest their dream life. Welcome, Dan, the money mindset man, to the stage. I love it. Well, last time we met, we were talking about, artichokes, the heat in Europe, and
God, it was awful. It was awful. No, we're talking about running away from the winter, and the thing is that now I've got the opposite. I have to run away from the summers being too hot in Mexico, and I ran to Europe thinking, I'm going to have like a chill thing, I'm going to be in Italy, and it was hotter there than it was here because there's that bloody heat wave, so there we go.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that long ago that we talked to each other. So the weather has really flipped in a very short amount of time.
Flip. There we go.
Yeah. So, hey, but that's what seasons do. And that's what life does, right? So you just got to be ready for the next thing. So let's see. So Dan, I'd love to hear a little bit more about your origin story. And are you the hero or the villain? So
I've definitely been both, 100%. 100% been both. Oh God, me. So I was actually speaking to someone about this, I think 2 days ago, when it came to talking about being in employment, because I've only had 2 jobs in my entire life.
Oh, really?
One, I worked in a cinema when I was 15 for a summer. Met my 2 best friends, Jamie and Nathan, there. We worked at Stir Century. What up, crew? In Romford, in Essex, in the UK. And then I didn't need that job. I actually was already making and selling computers, and I was already entrepreneuring by that point. But it was something to do. We got free popcorn. I got to see the movies first, which I love. It was great. And we worked with a Ben and Jerry stand, so we had copious amounts of ice cream. Probably why I ended up lactose intolerant not too long after. But another job that I had was it was about 20, or I want to say 26, 27. I worked in a call centre when I was rebuilding up my life. I worked in a call centre for 6 months. I worked in the call centre from 1:30 in the afternoon till 8:30 at night, doing the same customer service call to Volkswagen dealership customers. It's a 7-minute call, and I had this script, and I had to do it over and over and over and over again. And if you veered off of the script, then you got into trouble. But I did that for 6 months while I was building up a business, and then as soon as I was making minimum wage from my business, like the equivalent of what I was making at work, I left and focused on my business.
Peace out. Yeah. Good.
Peace out.
That's definitely the way to do it. It's funny. I interviewed at a movie theater, and they told me I wasn't going to be the right material for the job. because I said I just wanted the job so I could earn enough money to get a car. And I was like, I didn't really care about the job. I guess that's not the right interview question.
Well, I was quite fortunate, and this is maybe a life lesson. I was quite fortunate that they desperately needed people, like they just needed bodies. So the interview was, so my mate Andrew actually worked there. He's like, Dan, like my workplace really needs people. Do you want to make some extra money? I was like, huh? He goes, you get free ice cream, you get free popcorn, you get free hot dogs. Do you want the job? I'm like, yeah. So I went, and it was literally, will you be here on time? Yes. Will you follow the rules? Yes. Can you start tomorrow? Yes. Okay, you have a job. That was it. That was my job interview.
And that really should be the interview for most things. It's like a lot of times people aren't hitting a lot of those marks.
They're not hitting those marks. Will you not grab people without their consent? Yes. Okay, you can have the job.
Exactly. Just behave.
Yep. Behave.
So you've started a lot of businesses over your career. And what's kind of kept you motivated? Because the thing I really don't like is a lot of people go, oh, don't be an entrepreneur because so many businesses fail, blah, blah, the usual rhetoric. But I feel like everything is a stepping stone to the next adventure, right? So what's kind of kept you going, and how did it lead you from the next business to the next?
I do you know what the thing is? I don't know if some of us just have the bug for entrepreneurship. For me, I believe that my deep and insatiable need for freedom really has led me to not really being able to work for other people. I couldn't go to the same place every day wearing a suit, doing the same thing every day. It just doesn't work. Even here, like now, I've got 2 offices. I don't have 1 office, I've got 2. So I've got like choice between offices I'm going to work out of and freedom with what I do. And I've always sort of made sure that I have that freedom. But earlier on in my career, it was being rich when I was young. Like when I was really young, I really was obsessed with being a millionaire by 18. I didn't do it till I was 19, but I was really, really obsessed with being a millionaire by 18. And that was like my focus. A lot of my identity was tied up in that, which is what led to so much trouble for me when that identity was gone and sent me into a bit of a spiral. But earlier it was that, and now it's not even the entrepreneurship, it's the adding value and actually being of service. That's the big thing for me now. So when I end up in new businesses now, it's, there's a way that the world isn't having the value that it needs in this area, and I have the resources, or I have the capacity or the opportunity to step in and be the conduit to that. So now, unless it's got impact, unless it's really doing something of value, I just doesn't really make it through. It just ends up not going anywhere.
And that's so important because, and I find this so often, and it happened to me as well, is you get so locked into a certain idea of yourself when you're younger. And when you achieve that success, especially if you're smart and you're a go-getter, and then it happens and then you're like, oh, and if you lose that job, you get laid off, you just decide it's just not what you want to do anymore. All of a sudden you're like, oh shit, who am I? Because you were so closely linked with that as a part of your identity. And then when you try to do the next thing, it's like, you're starting from infancy all over again to try to build yourself up. So I love what you do is like really identifying with the value and that you're bringing to the different people that you work with in businesses. That's great.
And it makes the process of value creation, which for me is what money making is, it makes it so much easier when there's a predefined value. And I also find, even if you think of it from an energetic perspective or a spiritual perspective or whatever, when you're going into an enterprise with the pure intention to be of service, there's a level of support that comes in and just makes things work, even in the face of challenges. And so even when people ask me, how did you get your coaching business to 6 figures in such a quick time? Because I did it in like 4 months. And I had a really small email list. I wasn't in people's DMs. I wasn't harassing anyone. I do a post to make like 20 grand. Like it was really, really easy. And that was because I feel I wasn't chasing the dollars, I was chasing the service, and the dollars followed.
Yeah. And I feel like that makes you extremely unique, and it really makes you stand out from the crowd. And it's an important thing for young people to understand is so many times before, especially in school, we're taught sales, 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 push, push, push. When you think of it, you think of the sort of used car, salesman type of model. And that's just not going to work anymore. It doesn't, one, resonate with most people in their business, but it also doesn't resonate with your clients. So they're not going to
I don't think it's ever
with
worked though, Nikki. I don't think it's ever really worked.
Hi everyone, Nikki Green here, and I am here to tell you that Chameleon Mindset is on its way. If you'd like to learn more about the Chameleon Mindset book, the online course that'll help keep you motivated and doing some of the fun Karate Kid exercises, go to chameleonmindsetbook.com and you'll find more information about pre-sales, bonuses, and so much more.
One of the biggest lessons I got, and it was one that took me in this current iteration of business that really skipped me up to being able to do the 6-figure months, and now we do 6-figure weeks in the business. It was recognizing that sales isn't me trying to get money from someone, it's understanding how I can serve them and liberate them from pain or solve a solution for them. And in the face of that, being such integrity with the level of service I am offering, that it's everybody's happy for there to be a value exchange or for there to be an exchange of money for that. So when I'm going out into the world, seeking to be of service, looking for opportunities for me to serve people directly with a clearly discernible problem or solution that I'm bringing, or pain resolution that I'm bringing, then it's just, you have a problem, I have a solution. This is my rate.
End.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the end.
Yeah. Well, and I think you bring with you too a great network of people too. I know a lot of times when, I listen to the podcast and different people that you've met through that, or the way we've met through our networks, it just gives you such an easier way to also have those conversations with people, is because you talk about them first, right? What do they need? What's going on with them before you're even trying to talk about what you do in your business. So talk a little bit about that transformation, how you really have started to learn more about people and where you resonate, like what type of clients.
I mean, one of the big things I think, so one of the modules that I've got in one of my programs is something called the different types of capital that you didn't know you had. There was a lesson that I learned from one of my mentors about half a decade ago. I was making a transition over to what I do now. The universe was kicking me up the butt so that I'd make the jump. That's a whole other story. And I'd gone to see my mentor just to sit down with him. And he told me his story, and I didn't know. I assumed that he was from money, right? So I didn't really understand just how much, he built himself up. He was I'm sure he had a bit of a start because, there was a bit of a start there. But the point being, he lost everything. And he told me the story of he lost everything overnight because he was doing a lot of business in Liberia in the 90s. And then there was the coup. So he had to literally run with the clothes on his back because he was tied to the government. And he said, within a year and a half, I was a millionaire again. And I thought, daddy gave you some money or whatever, or granddad. He goes, do you know why? I said, why? He goes, relationships. He said, it doesn't matter how much money you've got in the bank. When you've got the right relationships, you will always be able to win. And we hear the old adage, your network is your net worth. But ultimately, relationship capital is more valuable than money, because money can be taken, it can be stolen, it can be lost and devalued in inflation. But the caliber of relationship you keep and the way that you show up with and for people will always keep you in profit.
Yeah. And I absolutely believe that. And it was something that was very hard for me to learn when I was younger. When I was younger, I very much was like, oh no, I'm the smartest person in the room. I did the best thing in class. Now I'm going to do the best thing in school. And that's all it's going to take. And one of my managers was like, you're kind of a B. Yeah, like you're not a nice person to know. They said, you're just so serious, in the office, and no one likes you. No one wants to work with you.
Oh no, I can't imagine that.
Exactly. People that know me now are like, nah, that can't be true. But it was. I had gone through so much trauma when I was younger. I was just insulating myself so fiercely in this, like, I am going to be the smartest and do the thing, right? But that shell kept people from knowing me. And so once I did that pivot about 25 or 26, I had that turn and I was like, oh, but I'm fun. I am fun.
Come and enjoy my funness. It's here available for you.
And slowly but surely, I started hosting Halloween parties and, dressing in ridiculous costume when it wasn't even Halloween, and just trying to get people to know the real me,
the real
right?
you. Yeah.
the real me. And it took a lot of vulnerability to really be able to start putting that out there. But it blew up my career overnight. Like overnight, I was getting job offers. I wasn't even looking for jobs. You know, people were coming to me once they really understood like the value that I was going to be bringing to the table. And so I think this is really important for people to understand that connection happens in so many ways. It may have nothing to do with work itself, right? There's just other ways you can connect with people genuinely and get to know them better, right?
Agreed. Definitely.
Yeah. And you never know where your paths are going to cross, especially now. You know, you're jetting all over the globe and you never know where you're going to be next. And, you know, I was in Austin and one day I was with people I'd known for, 15 years. And the next day I was in a group who I didn't know anybody. They all knew each other. So once I started talking about it, you don't know. It goes back 2 or 3 ways. So it's kind of funny how the concentric circles keep happening in your network.
Yeah, 100%.
So I want to talk a little bit about your passions and what has gotten you spurred to really help and do the things that you're doing now. What, either challenges or experiences have you had in your life that made you go, nope, this is what I'm doing next?
The funny thing is, Nikki, there's a lot of people that come to do the kind of work that we do because they're like, oh, I was in corporate and my soul was empty and I had my divine calling and I just needed to do something. I was living my best life. I was actually okay. I didn't want to be helping people. Actually, I didn't want anything to do with people. Trying to help people earlier in my career actually had got me into trouble. It was clean. It was safe. I had this really safe bubble that made money and everything worked. It was actually running away from that and then having this really profound meditation experience where I got to understand that even though we might think that everything's good, there's always something more that's available. And that doesn't mean that we're not to be satisfied with what is because there's something to chase. It's being open to the possibility that there's more yumminess available to us, which I was closed off to. And so I do what I do now because it's literally, it's like breathing. It's like a heartbeat. It's like the sun rising in the east and setting in the west. This is just what I'm here to do. It feels natural. It doesn't feel like I've got a job. It feels like I'm just living. And it's just a delightful, yummy experience for me. I'm excited about seeing people apply what I'm honoured to get to share with them. We just did an in-person event here in Los Cabos this past weekend, seeing people manifest things in the room, including one woman that manifested $2 million to fund her film project. People getting relationship stuff whacked, people having breakthroughs. It's wild. And that I literally as a job get to do that every day. I have to pinch myself sometimes, and I'm just grateful that I get to do this.
Oh, that's amazing. And I think that's it. It's coming from this real genuine place where you start to mesh up with other people that are also in a genuine place and things start to flow. I think for a long time, many people just believe business was like, I have to have power over you. I have to go, boss everything around, boss my employees, go, bully my suppliers, and all these ways of doing business. It just, the relationship starts to run out, right? And you lose your capital. And so now I think coming from this genuine place is important.
Yeah, 100%. And it just feels good. It feels good to wake up in the morning excited about what I'm going to get to do, to go to sleep deeply satisfied with what I've shared with the world that day.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, my favorite question is always, so, there's obviously the ways that we make money and do good for ourselves and our families, but what other causes have affected you in your life, and what superpowers do you use to help others in your community and, expand what is good for them?
Well, I'm deeply passionate about philanthropy. My actual medium-term goal is to be a full-time philanthropist in the next 3 to 5 years. And so I practice something I call entrepreneurial philanthropy, where we bring value creation into the process of philanthropy. Rather than giving handouts, we create value that gets reinvested in local communities to help with infrastructure, local training, creating jobs, and just shifting mindset through what we're providing. So built a lot of schools and support a lot of schools and medical centers and all that kind of stuff. And that, for me, is what this wealth gathering is about, is having the resources to be able to go and create more value in the world in that way, and also to shift paradigms in the way that we approach philanthropy and helping others.
I love it. I love it. I wore my Dream It shirt just for you today, but this is actually from a Girls on the Run event. So I was previously on the board with them. They have chapters all over the United States where they help young girls in elementary school age to middle school and have confidence and, you know, be a working part of the community, right? So that they can, again, help others even younger than them, which is fantastic. It's not just about running, which always is what people think, but... Yeah, but I love it. I think it's so important. I think it's another great pivot of what's happening following the pandemic is, again, thinking about our communities, thinking about giving back not just to ourselves to make sure we're provided for, but for those around us in the places where we live, work, and play, and that they have the things that they need in life too. So thank you for that work. It's really important. I'm excited for the next couple of years, and anything I can do to help that journey, I am here for you as well. Well, time flies when we're having fun. If you can believe it, it is already time to sign off. So, Daniel, let us know where are you at next? Where are you going to be? How can we help you? Where can we follow you? What's the best way to connect?
Dreamwithdan.com. You can check out the events calendar to see what's up and coming. I'm actually about to shut down for the year. I think Tuesday is my last working day for 2022. So I'm not really doing much this year. I do have a speaking gig in December, but that's about it for me. And then I'll kick up back at some point in January. But dreamwithdan.com, there's free resources. I can check out the podcast, including our episode. My film is nearly ready to release, so that will be updated on the website as well. But yeah, dreamwithdan.com, everything's there, social media links, the whole thing.
Love it, love it, love it. Yes, I've had so much fun spending time with you on your show, on mine. I know we're going to run into each other in real life at some point soon in one of these events.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll party it up with some artichokes and who knows.
100%. I might leave you to eat all the artichokes, but we'll definitely party up.
Sold, that's fine. It'll increase my irons. Awesome. Thank you so much for the laughs. We're signing off for today's episode of Stand Up and Stand Out, but stay tuned and we'll tell you what's coming next. Thanks everyone for joining us today for another episode of Stand Up and Stand Out. You know you can catch us where all the cool kids hang out that do podcasts on all the major platforms. And if you want to connect with Nikki directly, you can get a hold of me on my personal site, thenikkigreen360.com. There you can check out my website, you can see any of my new books, you can learn more about this podcast, and follow us on social. Can't wait to hear from you, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.